Let's go. Game time. The standard is the standard. That's our motto. That's our creed.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Better Baby Daddy Club. I am one of your co-hosts, John Laxman.
I am your other co-host, Kelly Burgess.
That is so locked in,
Hey,
man.
yeah, and then the groove.
I wonder if our previous listener that enjoyed that so much is still listening at this
Hey.
moment.
That was for you.
That was for you. That was for you. Anyhow, today, B, we're going to come at it a little differently. Like you say, we're always aiming at a moving target.
Yeah.
And in that vein,
Mhm.
you are going to interview me today.
Here we go.
Yeah. And part 2 will be my interview of you.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So we've been at this for a minute,
Yes, we have.
right? Two crazy guys just decided to let's tell all our business, pretty much, right?
Wait, that's a great idea.
Online, and really peel back the curtain on what it's like to be a father who has done some things,
Yes.
made some mistakes, and then worked their way back. And so, man, you just you really are the energy and the engine that gets this thing going. And so it's going to be interesting to hear your perspective on what you've learned. And then certainly we want to talk about our 5 pillars, because that's what we are 10 toes down on.
Absolutely.
And then maybe finish with a message to our audience, and man, I mean, 1 or 2 takeaways from them.
Man, I'm excited to get going.
All right, man. So for those who have never
Yes.
seen you, don't know anything about the man we call Latchman or L, I want you to give a little background on your story and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I could start from the early years of,
Okay.
and I don't want to speak about myself in third person, but the early years of myself.
Gotcha.
I grew up in a single mother household.
Mhm.
Father wasn't around all that much, or consistently, I should say. He spent a lot of time doing his thing, whether that was legal or illegal, right? So he made it to something. You know how you always talked about the first, the only, and the last?
Yeah.
My father was a interesting gentleman when it came to those things. He was incarcerated. And he got out like 3 days before I graduated high school. And guess where he was? At my graduation.
Hey.
And you know where he went about maybe 2 to 3 months later? He went back. He got incarcerated again.
Wow.
And you know when he got out? About 2-3 weeks before my college graduation.
Wow.
And you know where he was? He was at my college graduation.
Did not know that. That's wild. My man just marking down days. XXX cross graduation day.
Yeah, so I don't know how he finagled that one.
That's
But he made it, man. But I was able to share those memories with him. And even though, there's a lot of inconsistency, I love my dad. He obviously loved me. He dealt with a lot of different things that, pushed him in a direction that did not allow him to be consistent. But I definitely learned a lot of good and some bad from him, growing up. But growing up in a single parent household, you tend to view things a lot differently. You don't understand how relationships actually work because you don't see them actually work. And that work is dirty, it's grimy, it's, disagreements, it's maybe raising a voice, maybe it's arguments, but it's the ability to bounce back, that holds that structure together.
Yeah, you sent me an Instagram post yesterday, and it was about the ability to repair the relationship being the main skill, and we miss that when we don't see both people working to repair it.
That's it, man. Like I never saw that work, that repair work. So every time I got into a relationship and it got rocky, I was like, oh, this can't be the relationship for me then, because it should be smooth. It should be easy. We shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have these feelings.
I love you.
Yeah.
Why are we at this place, right?
Yeah, right. Like, you don't treat me right. Well, I'm not going to treat you right. Like, all this stuff that I had never learned or witnessed, or like you like to say, I never caught, right? It's not that my parents wouldn't want to teach me that. They just never were able to show me that example, because neither of them were in stable relationships outside of when they separated. So I just never saw that work. And that led to, and no excuses whatsoever, man, but, that led to me making some very poor decisions in life. And as a result, I have 2 BMs, but 2 beautiful children as a result. So I have a 11-year-old and a 7-year-old that are two different women. And man, was that part of my life a journey? Man, if you in that world, if you feel that, if you got, even 1 BM will throw your life into chaos. When you double down on that joint, like you just, I don't even know what to say.
We can laugh about it now. We can laugh about it now, but it's tough.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here. Because we know it's tough, fellas.
You get hit with child support. Not only you get hit with child support, but you're caught between 2 worlds when you have 2 BMs or more. Some of us got more, where you're trying to appease one and the other one doesn't like that. Or you're trying to appease this one and this one doesn't like that.
So we get a third shorty.
Yeah. So now we're really trying to ease the pain.
Triangulate that situation.
Maybe I can divide it by thirds, it'll be less.
Right. We do use that logic. It's bananas.
Man, but I can just remember one time, because of something that occurred between my first BM and myself, I'm leaving court, and my second BM's in the car at the time. And I'm leaving court and I'm driving, and it's like an hour drive from where I'm going back to the house. And I'm all stressed about what just happened in court. It just wasn't where I wanted to be. And I'm thinking to myself, what the heck is going on in my life right now? And then all of a sudden, the second one's like, wham, wham, wham. I'm like, holy. Yes. And I can just remember her going, and I just I'm looking at her, and I don't even have nothing for you. And I'm just looking back at the road. Because, how did I get here? How did I get here, B? And that was the longest drive of my life. And I've driven across the country to California a couple times. I've driven through Montana, man. You ever drive through Montana or Nebraska? There's nothing there. That hour was horrible. And then when she finally stops, it's dead silent. And that dead silence it might have been worse. It might have been worse, man.
Dude, you just can't, and those are the things that we talk about on this journey of being a better baby daddy that are not postable. You're not snapshotting that and saying, me and my second BM are embroiled in a situation. We about a second from catching a charge on one another on Route 301, right?
And we're leaving the courthouse where I was just...
Yeah, fellas, loving life. # baby dad.
And I can remember being in court, and look, I'm paying CS. I'm also... I don't want to use the term funding a second BM, but that's it. I'm funding a relationship, right? Yeah. She's also a contributor, so I'm not taking anything away from her from that. But you're involved in a relationship, so there's money going out. You have 2 children at this time, money's going out, and then a child support check. So I can't afford a lawyer at that point in my life.
Right.
I show up, and then I look, and then she shows up. She got a whole contingency. I was like, is it Johnny Cochran over there? All kinds of stuff.
This cat was that? You didn't tell me. Right.
So, and I'm just like, yeah, this ain't gonna go well for me. Luckily, it didn't turn out too bad. But still, it's just those memories, man, they are burned. You can remember the fine details of situations like that a lot of times.
What it smelled like, and what the bird sounded like.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's a space, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a decade plus of that journey.
Yeah.
You certainly are a different guy now.
Yeah.
Learned a lot of lessons, and that's the motivation for wanting to start a platform where we could get some of these stories, drop a little wisdom, hear from other people about that to make their load a little lighter. So explain to the audience how you went from, hey, stuck in a car with a fish breeze hot BM number 2, just leaving court with BM number 1 to the refined, centered, calm, engaged, reflective dad you are now.
Oh, man. It literally has been a decade plus journey of continuous growth. And it's been a journey where, like the old saying is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And sometimes it was 3 steps towards, 5 steps back. It really felt like that at moments in my life. I feel like I'm in a solid place right now, but what really occurred is towards the end of the relationship with my second BM, I really started to get into reading and meditation. Just, I don't know why it necessarily started. I might have been watching something on YouTube and they were like, hey, do this for your mental. And I was like, all right. And that journey started. It didn't save the relationship, unfortunately.
It saved you, though.
But it saved me. Absolutely did save me. And then I really dove into fitness. So those 3 things combined: reading, listening to audiobooks is one thing. I started journaling as well, so I had that. The meditation, and then really just diving in. I've always been an active person, I've always worked out, but really looking at fitness as a modality to ease stress became like a lifeline for me.
Yeah.
The combination of those things really changed the direct trajectory of my life. But it wasn't just like one day, you know, you hear people like, oh, they had this epiphany and my life changes. It didn't happen like that. And I don't think it happens like that for most people.
No.
It was a rocky road to get to the point where I am now. And I still, like, I'm not a perfect man. I'm not a perfect father. I have my ups and my downs. But I just leaned into those things. And I also leaned into, I've leaned into spirituality much more over the last, I would say, 3 to 4 years, something like that. You know, just diving into Christianity and diving into, to be honest, like any religion that I can grab something and be like, oh, I can use that in my life. So I'm open to different things that provide something of positive substance to me. Like, there's a lot of wisdom in these books.
There really is.
There's talking about thousands of years of knowledge.
Knowledge and lived experience with people. Yeah, people try stuff and man, that didn't work.
Yeah, so my decade compared to 1,000 years. Like,
yeah. So you touched on one of what we call, you know, for the audience, you guys that are new, when we started this platform, we said, hey, what are we going to be known for? We're going to be known for these 5 pillars. And they were things that we recognized as men that if you have them, and they're growing, man, you're going to be in great shape. If you have a deficit in any of them, it's going to expose you and make it hard for you to be a better dad, right? So you touched on one, which was spirituality, and you kind of touched on the other one, physical fitness. Let's hit another one that, hey, we know is a tough spot for a lot of men who are in a situation like this, which is finances.
Finances is probably that. We've talked about this before. That's my Achilles heel. I like buying things, not so much for myself, but I like buying things for my daughters, and I like giving them experiences. But when I first got hit with child support, I was like,
a different experience.
Like, living in the DMV, it's already hard to make it.
Yes,
it's not cheap down here.
It is.
So when I hit with child support, I was like, how is this gonna work? And luckily my BM at the time, she was like, well, does this number sound good? I was like, yeah, because I heard what other men are paying, so that sounds real good to me. And she was like, all right, cool. And we sent it to court approved it. And then I got hit with some other stuff that escalated that number to more than double than what she had said. But hey, that's part of the journey. But it was, you know, getting off of work, coaching basketball, then Uber driving, then getting 4 hours of sleep, then coming to work, and then doing it again and again and again and again, and then finding time to be a father, and then finding time for personal growth. And that was a crazy journey. I can remember my oldest at the time, my youngest had not been born yet, and I was like, I got to do this Uber thing. This is what I got to do. And then I was like, oh, they got to inspect your car. And it was a weekend that I had my youngest, and I did the inspections. This is when Uber was really just starting to catch fire. And the only inspection station that was near me was like 45 minutes away in Virginia. So I drove there with her because it was my weekend with her, you know, get the car inspected. And we're walking around and there happens to be a park and she had the time of her life there. But it's like, those are like, you have to combine those things when you're a single dad, or when you need to meet certain needs, whether they're financial or fatherhood related. You got to find ways to like mesh those things in a sense. And that finance part was a beast until I learned to be better with my money. I'm still not great with it, but I'm much better than I was before.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you spoke about, hey, you had to stack on an already stressful situation, right? Your dad, you got little ones, and your relationship's not working out. So there's that, and then you got to stack another job on top of that, and then you're limiting your sleep. All right. And so all those things are stressors that could easily get you off. But because you had these other things in place, the physical fitness, the spiritual component, it gave you a resilience to be able to do this other stuff. We told guys a year ago, hey, you better be prepared when you first break up to pull up your big boy drawers and stack one, maybe two more jobs on top of that. You got to do that. So that finance thing is a beast. We kidded before about $2 paychecks and handing all it Uber cash over to, not even the mom, the mother-in-law, right? Like
that's the worst.
Like
man.
You had to pay the toll, right? But man, those are just lessons learned, right?
Yeah.
The one of the other pillars we talk about, which can help you stay in those jobs, help you, remain committed to the other things you said, fitness and things like that, is having a tribe of people around you that you can lean on, who keep you accountable. Speak to that, because I know you're a big proponent of accountability.
Yeah, I am a big proponent of accountability. And just to go back to that first part, that tribe aspect of things, when I was going through it, my best friends at the time were like 4.5 hours away from me, right? So it was just me and my mind, and me and my mental during that intense time period, which lasted a long period of time, right? It lasted from the breakup of my first BM and my oldest daughter being around 2 or 3 at the time, until like about a year after the breakup with my second BM and my daughter being 2 again. So maybe there's some data to pull from there, right? So that was probably about a 7-year time period where it was just fire. It was putting out fires for 7 years straight, and it was just really me dealing with that. Towards the end of that is when we started having communication. So I think that's when I became more intentional in building my tribe. I also connected with another man probably about maybe 2 years prior to you, or maybe a year prior to us having a conversation that we've talked about before, that's really like been influential in how I navigated things. But it wasn't like this consistent. At that point, we didn't have consistent communication.
Right.
So our communication would pretty much be, I was personal training him. We would have some contact and some interaction, and he just dropped some, some wisdom and some knowledge on me about how to go about things. And and that was the first time too that I actually realized that other men had experienced similar things. Because he had told me his story, and he told me like, oh, this happened and this happened. I was like, well, shit, I ain't do that yet.
Right.
Maybe I'll never do that one.
Right.
And he's in a good spot. So, and then when I talked to you, man, I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people going through this. There's a lot of men making dumb decisions because they never really matured in it. Their sexuality and their mental didn't mature at the same time.
Right.
Like that's the only way.
That's real talk. That's real talk. You just didn't grow to a point where you could manage those things so they were productive in your life instead of destructive in your life and other people's lives. Yeah. Right. So there's 1,000 reasons why that is. But, fact is, he's 30, 35-year-old man acting like a 13-year-old boy.
That's it. Yeah.
So.
And my tribe now is like, I have you, another gentleman that we work with here. I have my boys back in Pittsburgh. I have that, the mentor that we just discussed there as well. And I know if I go to any of those people, especially the guys down here, when it's face to face, I say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. You'd be like, are you stupid? Are you stupid? So, but luckily I'm not even in a headspace where I would think I would bring something stupid to you, but maybe I don't know it's stupid. So who knows? Right.
Hey, we both learned there's some lessons that we didn't know that we needed, and we're taking them right now, right?
Yes.
It's like, oh, I didn't know that was going to even be a thing in 2026, but here we are.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, where you're getting at is that, man, we know we were like a decade ago.
Yeah.
We know how we problem solved and stress relieved a decade or from, 20 decades ago, 2 decades ago. And we are just drastically different men. Not perfect men, definitely men on a journey, but I'm not that dude.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, for sure. And hopefully you don't get back into your point when you have a tribe where you're even, we all can waver and we all can have moments where, we're tempted or whatever, but you throw that across a solid dude's desk and be like, man, dude, get that mess out. You lost your mind.
Are you stupid?
Hey, show me a picture of your daughters again. Look at that, right? Right.
One of the other dudes that worked in the building, this was a while ago, and I was still the other guy, and this is when I knew he was real. He go, we was out on happy hour, and I was like, drifting. And he stops me and he goes, "You want to know the child support payment?"
A real one would get right to it. Hey, no pretense. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Dude, you realize where this is going in.
5 beers and 3 shots in.
Hey.
I sobered up. I was like, check.
Exactly. Good, man. Good. Hey, good. A couple good road dogs will save you from a lot of grief.
They really will.
Yeah,
man.
Really will. And on the flip side, if you continue to surround yourself with cats who are with you when you got in these predicaments, it's just a matter of time till you fall back into it.
It absolutely is, because if let's just take a group of 3 men, right? And one of them is a dude that's kind of like unsure of himself. He could drift either direction, and he's with 2 dudes that he's going out with all the time. And let's say they're 25, 26, 27, and those 2 dudes that are going all the time are just about being grimy and doing stuff, right? That dude that's prone to drifting, where's he drifting to?
He's drifting toward the grind.
Like, that's the only option, really, man.
It is.
Unless he's incredibly strong-willed.
Yeah.
But if he's incredibly strong-willed, he's not a drifter.
Right.
So,
yeah,
there's
that tribe's so important.
Man, I'm telling you.
Me, I was thinking about the 2 cats that that have been with me, and you met at least one of them.
Okay.
40 years knowing me, and just, man, the stuff that they saved me from, and the stuff they've seen, right? Like, they've seen a lot of stuff. It's like, holy caramba, right? But the stuff they saved me from, because I knew I would have to go back to them and say, hey, I either did this or I'm thinking of this, and they would help me walk it back. So, man, guys out there, we're praying that if you just have one,
yes,
you're fortunate. So find that person.
Yeah.
And then the last pillar, so we talked about physical fitness. Maybe we'll touch upon that a little bit more detail, because you are really serious about that. Yeah. We talked about spirituality, finance, the tribe, and then that mental and emotional piece. Speak to that.
Man, you got to be rock solid up top. Like, you got to be rock solid up top, especially if you're traveling the journey of the baby mama stuff. Like, you have to be rock solid. You have to be able to emotionally regulate. You have to be able to stop, remove yourself from a situation. You have to be able to reflect. You have to be able to shut your mouth, and you have to be able to listen. And that's all mental, emotional well-being right there. Earlier in my life, not good at that stuff. Ego-driven. Right? Like, that's what the mental emotional does. It allows you to suppress the ego when you're regulated properly, suppress the ego and just hear. Not just simply listen, but hear what someone's saying. And in tense, tight situations, if you can't hear that person, if you can't feel that person, and you're just kind of listening, but you're listening for a moment so you can speak, so you can return some type of verbal outburst, is never going to work. And then on top of that, when you're dealing with all these stressors, like child support, making time for your child, working 2 jobs, whatever else is going on in your life that's normal for a human being in terms of stressors, to deal with all that, you need to have outlets. Yeah. And one of those outlets for me has been journaling. One of those outlets has been meditation, prayer, and then, of course, fitness as well. But if you can't, I mean, we've talked about this on our podcast. a lot of men, what they do is they take those stressors, and because we're good at compartmentalizing things, we put them in a bottle, we put them on a shelf, put them in a bottle, put them on a shelf, put them on a bottle, put them on a shelf. And then we have all these different stressors and all these bottles on on this massive shelf that are ready to burst.
Yeah.
And then the slightest little, basically earthquake, and everything explodes.
Yep.
So you have to be able to do this as a man. And this is what, and I don't know, I can't remember who we were speaking to. Maybe it was Stephen Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
But we were talking to him, and he had brought up that analogy in some sense, or we brought it up together. I can't remember exactly how it played out, but you have to be able to put it on the shelf and then take it off the shelf and slowly let that carbonation out, right? And deal with it. And that's what journaling does. That's what meditation does. That's what the gym does. That's what your tribe should do for you. You can go to them, be authentic. You can be assertively vulnerable in those situations. You can be masculinely vulnerable in those situations. But if you don't let a little of that pressure out, they're going to explode with the slightest rock.
Yeah. And I mean, you said it so eloquently, man. That is what has to be done. It's the thing we miss when we don't see our dads do that in real time with our moms. Or at least, hey, son, I should have done it this way. I didn't. You saw how negative it went. Like, so a lot of it is on the job training.
Yeah.
Or us learning, getting really bad consequences for not regulating. And we talked before on previous podcasts about, as men, I don't know about ladies. Ladies kind of go a different way, but men can get in a really, really dark place when we don't handle, like what you said up top, dark place, and just do completely destructive things.
I think it's some crazy number. I don't want to make this up. I wish we had a producer. Hey, fact check me real quick. But the number is like 60 or 70 or 80% of all suicides are men. That's insane. But that's because we put it all on the shelf. And then when a little rumble comes and everything on the shelf explodes, all 100 bottles explode at the same time.
Yeah. And we go dark.
Yeah.
So that pillar is so important, and your tribe is kind of tied to that, right? Because they can say, hey, man, feel the feels. Like a good man will tell you, hey, feel the feels, man. You're angry, you're frustrated, you're horny, whatever it is, feel that thing.
Yeah.
But then here are some other options to manage that. Here's the next thing you can do as a dad. That's a good move. That's not a good move, right? Here's the next thing. And I'll sit with you in that.
Yeah.
I'll go with you and help you do that step if that's needed.
Yeah.
Very good. So those 5 pillars, man, I love that. Those kind of came to us a couple years ago when we were starting out, because it just, well, one, it helped us organize content around the podcast, right?
That too.
Kept these ADHD brains just, hey, we're going to stay right here. But they're just, they're universal.
Yes.
And they're perpetual. Like, they're never not going to be a good thing to do.
And they provide structure.
Yeah.
Right. And when we were reflecting and we were building these pillars out, we realized that we had practiced them all in some way. And I think that, like, we can't sit here and preach to you about those things if we're not implementing some of them. Are we perfect with them? Absolutely not. Are we experts? Nope, not that either.
No.
But we're out here and we're talking about them.
Okay. All right, man. So let's jump forward to today.
Well, today. That's a great
present time.
Man, let me tell you about today. Well, today is a day or a time period in which, I'm still navigating single adulthood and, trying to see what the best path forward is in terms of for myself and my children. What does that look like? One of the revelations that I came to, though, is this, and I had said this to you before, is the fact that moving forward, if you meet my children, we're getting married. There is no other option. So I don't care if it's 6 months and you meet my girls, it's a year and you meet my girls. That's the proposal right there, because I'm not putting them through it. Yeah. So I'm going to be very careful who gets introduced to them. Yeah. That took me going through certain situations to come to that realization. I put my oldest through meeting 2 different women. My youngest's mother and then another woman. I put my youngest through, meeting one other woman besides her mother. And then she also has to have the interactions with my oldest's mother as well. So it's any woman that comes into my life, you know, you're going to get vetted, as you should be vetting me as well, right?
Yeah.
But if we reach the point where you're like, hey, I want to meet my kids, and I'm going to say, hey, do you want to get married? That's how it's going to go. Bottom line, B.
Hey. Makes it clear, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
What have you... So besides the kind of the numbers of, hey, my oldest has met 2 women that aren't going to permanently be in her life, right?
Mm-hmm. Or consistently.
Or consistently be in their life,
Yeah.
right? And my youngest has met 1 in addition to my oldest mom, right?
Yeah.
What are some things you've seen from your girls, or what made you kind of turn the corner? Was it a conversation, or you just kind of were to yourself and you realized, yeah, that's my new non-negotiable?
It was just a deep reflection after a relationship ended, thinking through that process and thinking what I had thought was going to happen and what actually happened, and realizing that there is a lack of control in regards to another person when you're in a relationship with them. Like, you can believe everything is good and kosher, but if you're not truly paying attention, and sometimes even if you are really paying attention, it doesn't matter. But that lack of control is, let me rewind here. There should be a lack of control because you can't control another person.
Yeah.
But if that other person's not willing to be forthright with information, emotions, communication, authentic, real communication in turbulent times, you just don't know what's going to occur. And until they're placed into that stress test, you just don't know. And I'm of the honest belief that you need to have that stress test prior to anybody meeting your children.
Yeah.
Because once you add that added layer into that, it becomes real. And that realness is your children's mental, emotional stability, regulation ability, all those things.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I answered your question.
No, you did.
Like,
no. I mean,
yeah.
the answer was deep reflection.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, I mean, we had talked, pre-show throughout the week about a comment that one of your little ones made.
Yeah. So that reinforced it.
Yeah.
That comment, she said, well, we haven't seen so-and-so in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, yeah. And like, how do I even answer that? Like, those are one of those questions as a parent that's coming from your child that you don't really have a good answer for.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And that's some of what we want to kind of get down the line to the dudes that are watching this, is that these things come up. You said a really powerful thing that, hey, 2 powerful things. One, there's so many unknowns when you're entering into a relationship, particularly when it's early and you're bringing extra stuff, both of y'all. And then you really can't control the other person. And you shouldn't control the other person, but there's a lot of uncontrollables. There's a lot of variables.
Yes.
And you don't know the full picture of that person until things are off schedule, until things are not right, till you make a mistake and they have to respond to it, till they make a big mistake and you have to respond to it. Like, you don't know that side of them.
Yeah.
But that is the work once you push chips all in and get married. It's like you're constantly dealing with one another's imperfections, right?
Yeah.
And so when you layer the kids in and you haven't discovered that yet, man, it is tricky to unwind that if you determine that. That's a deal breaker for me. So
you have to go through some turbulent waters in a relationship if you both have kids or one of you have kids prior to the kids being introduced.
Yeah.
That is a major lesson that I learned.
It is.
You have to deal with the rough seas.
Yeah. And it's so counterintuitive, right? If you're sitting here, we're sitting here, single dads, we've done the dad work, stabilized our life, kids are flourishing, and we feel like, man, it'd be great to fold somebody into this, me fold into theirs, and you're just open to it. But it's almost like you have to take even more time because you are coming as a package. And the thing I've thought about a lot, because I'm dealing with stuff where we talk about, hey, if you don't fix it when they're young and they see these patterns in you, it is going to come up with them. And so you're on the front end of that and you're like, Am I showing them like
That's
it's
exactly
cool to have 3 or 4 until you figure it out? And it's a lot to think about.
Yeah, it's a whole lot to think about. And it brings me back to what some of our guests in the past have said, specifically Dr. Brittany Weatherspoon, when she said, you need to understand this is a package. And she was speaking to the men, but I'm speaking to the women. You need to understand that this is a package.
Yeah.
So that's something that can't be taken lightly.
No.
And like, am I at fault? Absolutely, at times, for not understanding the package. But yeah, that we all have to do a better job. If you're out there and you're dating and you have kids, or you're dating someone that has kids, the understanding of the package deal has to be deeply rooted.
Yeah.
It has to be deeply rooted. It has to be on the forefront, because the primary driver as a parent, if you're a quality parent, is your children. Like, yeah, I got to work on myself. I got to do things for myself so I can be better for my kids. I understand all that and I believe in all that, but I'm still going to lay down my life when it comes to my girls.
Right.
So,
yeah. And just hearing you talk about that, do you think that most people in and of themselves can equip themselves for that adjustment? Or do they need outside advice, eyes, counsel to navigate that? It's like with a dude who says, hey, my heart's in it. I've done the inner work. My kids are in good shape. I got a good relationship with the BM. I'm ready to start seriously dating, or I'm ready to start looking for a life partner, spouse. Can they get to that space just doing their own work, do you think?
Oh, man. Because I spent so much time doing my own work and still essentially had to learn the lesson that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah. Hey.
Because we had talked previously about, well, when's a good time to introduce your kids? And you're like, well, we don't know. It's 6 months, 12 months, 13 months. But now I have something more concrete. And and that's because of the lesson that I had to experience. I have something more concrete.
Yeah.
And that concreteness is stress tests. What are you like under pressure? What is your capacity? Now I know. All right, we went through this moment in time where it was rocky, where it was rough, and we came out and we worked through that. Okay, now I'm leaning into you could meet my kids.
Yeah.
But if it's all, bumblebees and flowers in the meadow,
right?
And then, but so that's the tricky part. When it's all bumblebees and flowers in the meadow, you're more prone to be like, oh yeah, they can definitely meet my kids. This is so awesome. This is going to be amazing. But it's alluring because it feels so good.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking from a strategic, logical perspective. You're thinking from an emotional perspective.
Right. Yeah. I don't think you can get there by yourself as a man.
No,
I mean, not well. I think you can, and I think you navigated it really well because just knowing what I know, you put a lot of things up. There was no cards not laid out up front.
Right. Absolutely.
The only thing you needed was just time to discover that thing. And, as you were talking, I was like, how do you pull that forward? And I don't know of any other way except that the both of you agree to be put into a situation where hypotheticals and things that could come up 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road are pulled forward and you talk about it. Or you ask the person, what's the most difficult thing you've had to navigate? When did you feel at the end of yourself and you had to build another part of yourself to get through this thing?
Yeah.
And just kind of having that as a reference point. So you're like, oh, okay, that's how they handled, losing a parent or, somebody really dicking them over or something like that. Like you get a sense of, oh, okay, this is their tool set. But they're like, yeah, I really don't know. I can't really answer that. It's like,
that's definitely gives you some insight into things.
It does. Yeah. And
but even with all of that, the crazy part is, and this is why relationships are so difficult, and introducing kids just adds a layer of complexity that most people aren't able to handle at times or ever, is the fact that that person has to be self-aware. And if they're not self-aware, they're like, oh, I'm good with these type of situations. I handle it, blah, 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 blah. And it sounds great, right? You can talk about hitting a free throw with 2 seconds left in the game to take the lead.
Hey.
but you actually hit the free throw? Or when you step up to the line, your knees are shaking and your form's off and your fundamentals fail?
Yeah, you don't know.
So you don't know because we all have blind spots.
Yes, we do.
I have blind spots that I'm unaware of.
Right.
And the next person that comes into my life, the next woman that comes into my life, if she's of quality, she will expose those.
Yep.
And I'll be grateful for that. But if you don't have the ability to be self-aware at some type of level, you're not going to be even aware of where you're weak at. And you're going to perpetuate unconsciously a false image of who you are. And it's not done in malice.
No.
It's done because you're unaware.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got just self-preservation. You know, who wants to say, you know, here's my flank where I'm really exposed.
Yeah.
Here's where, you know, I'm chronologically 59 years old, but behavior, I'm like maybe 19. Like, who's going to come to the table and say that on the front end, right? But like you said, a good relationship is going to bring all that. It's going to service all that.
Yeah.
And then the work is how you handle that as a couple, right?
Yeah.
But man, I just, you know, from this kind of distant view in the arena of watching you navigate it, man, I just have tremendous just respect at your measured way you did it. And then, hey, this unexpected thing happens and I have to quickly, first I got to call it for what it is. Right. So there was like a 2 or 3 day period where it's like you were calling it for what it is or just kind of cycle through that. And then you made a decision. Like, you know, I got to move in another direction. You know, I discovered that, hey, this was not for me. And now, you know, I got a better sense of what that is. But the dating thing is tricky. You know, we talked about it.
Modern dating is wild.
It's, I mean, I applaud you brothers that's out there, you know, in the trenches with that. And, you know, I think we kid, but there's a truth and seriousness to it. It's like, I think I'm gonna start meeting ladies in Barnes and Noble. Like, I gotta know you're a reader.
That's it. Because
I got at least know you're a reader. That or the gym for me, I might throw church in there, but you know, I'm not looking. But it's like if I had to do it again, you gotta be familiar with those spots.
Yes,
it tells me something about you.
Yes, yes.
But it is, you know, but the whole, you know, dating app and you know what's presented online, and then what you see. And don't get us started on just the ease at which women and men give themselves access to one another physically. And I've always maintained that once you are physically involved, I mean, you'll be together, but for men, I don't know how it is for ladies. For men, you know, men are built for the chase. But once we've chased you and caught you, our desire to chase it just like evaporates. You know, we're not trying to discover these nuances of you at that point. Or I'd say it takes a while to get back to that.
Well, we're fighting. We're constantly fighting that, right?
Yeah.
Because there's that I'm trying to wow her phase. Right. And then once you've wowed her in a sense, right? Once you've got, like, even if your primary goal is not the sheets, like at some level, if you're a man, you want those, right? And once you get to that point, you have to fight the urge to fall back and not continue the wow.
Correct.
Like you still have to fight to bring the flowers.
Yep.
And you still and you should want to do those things for your ladies. Sure. But like biologically, there's this little, or not, maybe organically, naturally, I don't know what the correct term is. There's this subtle fallback. You know, women have the same thing. There's this subtle fallback because you graduate into comfortability into the relationship, right? That relationship is like, I mean, you've been married for a lot of years now. You kind of stop doing some of the things and you got to be like, oh, I stopped that. Let me get back to doing that type stuff. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And then, you know, when you're dating, it really is important that you can delay that so your eyes can be open for, hey, does she have the capacity to really get down to business when we got to resolve a hurt? Is she really ready to take on a stepmother role? and deal with the kids and possibly the BMs. If she had a capacity to do that, it was like I wasn't built for that.
Right.
Like you want to discover that early, and I think there's better ways to do it than that.
Yeah, I actually want to jump back into the dating app thing, man, because I think dating apps are hilarious.
So
here's how I liken dating apps, and we've talked about this briefly before, and it's like, I'm going to the junkyard, but I'm looking for a Rolls Royce, 2026 Rolls Royce,
clean,
clean,
interior clean, smelling like black ice, like a black ice air front.
I can't find nothing here, and it might be the same for ladies.
Right.
Some of the ladies I've talked to feel that it's a bunch of garbage, but yeah, we're still there.
Yeah.
But I recently just chopped it. I'm not doing them anymore.
Okay.
I'm not messing with those things.
Right.
They are.
Maybe we need to start our own app over here.
Yeah, they're hideous.
Yeah.
And they're just one of the great quotes I heard. Dating apps are like going to Barnes and Nobles or Books A Million, grabbing a book, and trying to read the barcode to determine if it's a good book. I guess that 6 looks good right there.
That works for me. It's in a bookstore.
It's in a bookstore, right? And it's just, fellas, if you're thinking about getting on a dating app, I'm gonna put you on some game right now. Some things to avoid and continuously swipe. Do not hit like. I don't care if she's a dime or not. I don't care if she liked you first. Do not like back. If, number one,
here it is. Here it is.
One, there are horoscope things on her page, like Aries. I don't even know them all. A Sagittarius, Leo, right?
But I'm the Virgo moon.
Yeah. If it says anything in relation to that, swipe and run, right? Don't hit like on those joints, because number one, this is based on research. This isn't just me here, right? This is research. Individuals that really gravitate towards or use astrology throughout their lives as a tool in their lives tend to be of lower IQ. So if that don't matter to you, that's fine, but that matters to me. All right. And number two, I doubt she's going to take accountability for stuff. Because what is she going to say, B?
Blame it on the sun.
She's going to blame it on the sun.
You know I'm a Virgo.
You know I'm a Virgo. What did you expect? It was in my bio.
You liked that Leo when you first met it, didn't you?
Leo energy. I don't even know what that means, but that's what she's going to give you. Stay away from that, man. That's a big one. Number two,
here we go.
Man, number two is confusing to me. It's literally, there's a deep psychological problem that's occurring. And once I explain it, you'll understand. And that is, if she says, I need to be treated like a princess, princess energy, anything about princesses.
Crowns.
Yeah, that's a problem too. Because let's rewind and think about this for a second, right? You want to be a princess. Well, who treats a princess like a princess? The king. The king is generally the princess's dad. She got daddy issues. She has daddy issues. That's my takeaway from that. Because my daughters are my princesses. I'm looking for a queen. I don't need a princess. I don't have two of them already. That's a major red flag right there.
Is that a thing out there?
Blah.
Hashtag crown.
Hashtag princess energy.
Really?
I need a man to treat me like a princess.
Really?
Where was your daddy at?
Right. Yo. Hey.
So you gonna run from that one, bro.
Any other thing? There was.
Yeah.
How about how close does the profile, the pics, the match the
reality?
The reality.
From my experience, they're within a couple degrees.
Okay.
So if the pick is like an 8, expect a 6 to 7.
So you got to do a mathematical computation on that.
Yes. Give or take 1 or 2.
Right.
Going down. They're not going to give you
they're not going to skew up. They're not
going to skew up in reality.
They're not under promising and over delivering.
Yeah, that's not it.
Right?
Is there anything else you need to be aware of? Oh yeah, if they come on there and they're like, I need this, and then you see their occupation is cashier at Walmart.
No shade on that.
No shade on that. No. But they're not in a position to make demands. Like,
you better be working some double shifts.
Like, I'm sorry. Let me think. Anything else going on? Yeah. Another thing. I'll give you an example. Okay. So I was interacting with a woman, on one of the apps, and the reason I began the interaction was, well, she had liked me, so I looked at her bio. No princess energy, no Sagittarius energy stuff, right? No demands.
Okay. She makes the first cut.
Yeah, she made the first cut, and then I saw she enjoyed deep conversations that were perspective changing.
Okay.
And I was like, whoa.
Whoa, okay. Haven't heard that. That's new.
That's right in my hot zone right there. Boom, you know.
Right.
So let me go ahead and like back, and we had a brief back and forth, and then I was like, me, I jump right into things. Yeah. So I was like, hey, I told her that too. I was like, hey, I'm out front with stuff. You about the same age as me. We ain't got time for this blah, blah, blah stuff. So let's find out if this is even a possibility moving forward. And based on her bio, she likes deep conversations that are perspective changing. That means you like challenging, difficult conversations, right? You like engaging in that. So I said, what are your thoughts on religion? What are your thoughts on politics? Oh, I don't talk about those things. Wait.
Scroll back to your bio. That's you.
And I just was like, you know what? I left it at that, unmatched and moved on.
Oh, so not even a cup of coffee?
No, I just unmatched that joint and kept it going.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because if you're not aligned with your bio, most likely AI wrote your bio as well. Right? So
that's the added thing right
That's
now.
It right there. So you didn't write that bio.
Right.
Because it's not aligned with what you're telling me right here.
Right.
And that's something you have to be careful of online and in person. Right? We have to understand that alignment aspect of things. Are your words and your actions aligning?
Right.
And if they're not, then hey.
Okay.
And at times, I'm at fault with that as well.
Right.
Maybe my words and actions don't align. And people look at me and like, bruh.
Right.
Right. But
hey, fresh out the grease, as we like to say. Yeah. It's tough. I don't envy you guys. I am definitely past that. But I think your approach could save a lot of men a lot of grief, and women, because when we come into it funky and sloppy and not ready, it usually damages ladies. And if they have kids, it damages ladies and the kids. So, so great advice.
Yeah, get out there and meet people, fellas, man. Go to places that you enjoy, that you would find a quality woman at. The bookstore, if you're a reader, right? The record store, if you love music.
Yeah.
Right? The gym, if you love working out.
Yeah.
And it's, in our current societal state, it can be difficult, intimidating to talk to women.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're like, oh, you a creep. Oh, what are you doing talking to me? Type stuff, right? But put yourself out there. Yeah. What's the worst that could ever happen?
Hey.
Catch a charge? No, I'm just playing.
Don't do that. Look, ma, no hands. Hey, So, but it is, because there's always that, but that's the game, right? There's always that threat of getting shot down, but hey, a shot not taken is a shot not made.
Yeah.
Remind me to talk to you about Outdoor Afro. It's a not online group, but it's a group of people that get together, people of color that get together and hike. All over.
Oh, yeah, I've seen groups like that.
All over the place. So I said, you might need to drop in and do a 3-mile with somebody. See what kind of.
Okay, she could keep pace.
Hey, see what kind of snack trail mix she brought.
Hey,
what's one final piece of advice you have for our audience? When we started this platform, it was for guys that are on the front end of the journey like we were.
Yeah.
We're down, but just trying to, help equip them for this road ahead. What's one final thing you'd like to tell them?
One final thing. I don't know if I can condense it into one final thing. That's tough, man. Work on you. Do real, authentic work on yourself. Be brutally honest about who you are, about your finances, about your mental, emotional state, about your social circle, about your fitness. Be brutally and authentically honest about the real you. in all aspects of it.
Here it is.
And then I'm looking at that and I'm like, all right, this is where I need to go to work at. This is where I need to get to work at. I was calculating, you know, how much time I spend listening to audiobooks and how much time I spend reading. I'm basically taking a couple college courses every single year. Like, and it's only like 20, 30 minutes a day, right? So do work on you. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's a car ride. It's 10 push-ups. It's that type of stuff.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Bite-sized, actionable,
Yeah.
not theoretically lived out. I can attest to this, man. He puts the time in. And so, you know, this, we've had a lot of guests on recently. And, you know, a few months ago, we said, you know, let's kind of, you know, give them the unvarnished edition of us. So
the updated,
right? Version 3.0. But appreciate it because it just shows the guys that we're about that work too.
Yeah.
You know, we're constantly trying to elevate. So
that's it, bro.
And we have not arrived, but we're on the way.
Yes.
All right.
May never get there, but that's the beauty.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, dog.
Love it, bro.
So until next time,
I'm John.
I'm Kelly.
Peace. All right, bro.
Take a little position.